YouTube, Brian Phillips. It's time for a heart-to-heart. A YouTube heart-to-heart. Well, that's weird. In the background, there happens to be some footage going. Weird. So anyway, folks, we've got this drone here, which is the Eagle Wings X1. We have a battery in it, which I'm going to take out the battery. I forgot to take the battery out. It's off, but I didn't take the battery out. As you can see, there's footage, and it looks pretty good. It's not perfect. It's definitely not 6K, whatever that means.
Oh.
We got ours with 3 batteries. We go over all this in the unbox. Why are we talking about this drone, okay? Obviously, as with other times on the Brian Phillips YouTube channel, Brian Phillips RC, we have run into drones that have, and this is the near death. Watch the near death. I mean, don't watch the near death. That's just an incidental footage in the background. I don't know what you might be looking at over my shoulder. That's weird. Oh, run after it!
At least it didn't catch us running.
Hey, listen. All I'm gonna say is roller coaster ride. So, this is what Eagle Wings claims. We're going to tell you what we've had success with, and camera crew is going to grab me that red marker. And I'm going to make some remarks. The red marker, the one that's red.
The black.
She's having trouble with red today. So, this is what our screen looks like. Okay? Wow. This is a Galaxy S9. Nothing run-of-the-mill cell phone. Okay? We also have a handheld transmitter. There's a USB port there for charging, okay? As you can see, we have video footage. Is this on like a loop back or what is that?
No, this was like 5 minutes worth of footage.
So basically, we're proving that it does something. Uh-oh. Okay, so what happened there was our USB adapter card screwed up. So that just happens on our computer. It's got nothing to do with the drone. But I want to show you something. This video footage is legit video footage. It looks pretty crispy and clean. It's also, you know, pretty good for close. I feel like the frame rate is low, if you ask me. In terms of video quality, you can see it's a little bit jumbly. Now, the good news is, as you can see, it is definitely filming. Now, that was all accomplished from this, less that. Mm-hmm. Why? Because we can't get, even though we can get this to attach to that, we can't get the app to open anymore. Now, the reason that that's annoying, especially annoying, is because we have already had this work, okay? So if you want to just see something, there's also another thing. You see that little thing right there? You see where it says, look at this, novice mode, on, off, okay? Mm-hmm. So you don't think I'm nuts. When the video continues, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. That is a mode that should be accessible still, and I don't know why it's not. Novice mode allows you to limit the height and reach of the drone, okay? So pretty simple. All right, so here's what we have so far. We have a list of conditions that they have offered in exchange for purchase of this device, okay? So these are features. 3-axis gyro-stabilized brushless motors. Camera. It says 8 megapixels. 1/3.2. 1/3.2 inch, 8 megapixel, FOV 75 degrees f2.0. Show them up close. I don't know what any of that crap means, except for the 8 megapixels. What I can tell you is that my wife's camera is a lot more than 8 megapixels on this device that you're watching us on, and that's 4K. And yes, we can do beautiful 4K images where you get to see every bead of sweat on my forehead.
Great.
Okay? So, brushless grade 7 resistance. That actually might be true because this was filmed in wind, even though I was piloting it like a complete fool. Okay? Optical flow hover. Yes, that works. Low power runway return. Yeah, I'm just going to go with question mark, but I believe it would do that. Define waypoint. That's a big, I don't know. We can't get it to work because the app stopped working. Omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. I think you have to buy a separate feature that goes right here. There's a tab that's under here. And so just so you guys can see this tab, I tucked it in because I didn't want to look at that ugly thing. And it's under there. You stick it in, it kind of looks like a little head that sits on there.
Yep.
And that's like an omnidirectional obstacle avoidance device, okay? So it doesn't just come with anything, okay? By default, okay? 3-axis brushless gimbal, yes. 6K dual camera, okay. Dual camera, what does that mean? Are they talking about that camera?
Yeah, which is not 6.
That's definitely not 6K. That little one that's next to the quality control?
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right. So I'm just gonna go with dual, probably not, but maybe on 6K. What does 6K even mean, okay? Some of you guys that know more about cameras than I, and I'm not claiming to be some genius here, but I work with technology for a living. I know about cameras. Okay, GPS positioning system. Yes, it does do that when the app's running. So that's a yes and a no, both. Here's why. GPS does work even on the handheld, but I feel like GPS is connected to the app. If you don't have the app, it's sort of useless. Okay, so gesture to take photo, that's a huge no. 35-minute battery life, yeah, on the drone. Now, we just have to figure out how to get this thing to last. Look, guys, we've already lost 1 bar, okay? This has been on for probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Yeah, maybe.
Consistently. Now, that being said, it's also warm to the touch. So if you want this thing to work for you, and you're thinking of maybe doing a couple of cinematic shots, you know, from your yacht, then it'll work fine.
Can we do that?
We don't have a yacht. We have to get one of those.
And
first. Also,
it's not like when it gets down to 0 bars it stops working.
No, at 2 bars.
At 2 bars.
At 2 bars. So it's kind of like when you get to 50%, then it's all over. So I don't know. I'm going to say that's like a big question mark.
Yeah.
Question mark. Smart follow. Yeah, I'm going to go with a big no. It won't follow nothing if the app doesn't run.
Right.
Fly around. We actually did that, believe it or not. We have a short clip of it going like, you know, sort of ambiguously around. However, this was off camera, and it was like me and my son doing this together. Was it this one?
It's one of those.
One of these. Okay, look. It's just chilling there. Now, we were starting it and then stopping it. And it just kind of kept going. So I'm gonna go with like, they get half points, so like times 0.5, okay? Because it sort of did it, but not really. Okay, and then 1 key soaring. I don't know what that means.
We don't know which key that is.
Like 1 key takeoff? I think that's what they mean. Oh, by the way, that is pretty good low light. I mean, it was dark.
It was dark.
I mean, it was civil twilight. I'm not sure what you're seeing behind me. I don't know what that is back there. Somebody must be playing a video. I don't know anything about it. So this is lock and unlock. So yeah, technically you reset your home position with that. So when the app was running, that seemed to be fine. So I'm gonna give that like a check mark, okay? 4,000 meter distance. That's a long ways, people. 4,000 meters? Are you freaking kidding me?
How far is that? They just get a no? Just automatically?
Well, you can't shut off novice mode. They took away the key,
well,
guys.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm just going to come back to this, guys. Look at this. We've got this. Where is that thing? So, no.
Okay, fine.
Drift away. Yep, it does that.
It might do that.
That's double, triple check. Spiral. Is that like on the way to a crash?
We've heard.
I'm going to go for
It's possible.
×2. Okay, so these are the technology advances in this device, okay? Now, between 0%, like a complete flunk, like, I mean, most schools start flunking you at like, what, like 60 or 50% or something like this?
Yeah, something like that.
On like the really high quality
Not
schools,
anymore.
it's
You
like in
can't
the
do
40s.
that.
Oh, sorry, people don't flunk anymore.
Right.
They just pass less good.
Yes.
Less better. So in this case,
More better.
I'm going to give this drone out of a score of 10, 10 being, wow, that was amazing, to 7 being like, that's about par for the course, to 5 being, oh my goodness, I want to take it out of the case and throw it while driving down a gravel road. So it's like on the ground and broken. And 0 being, I hated it. I wish my life would have been better had I not received it. Okay? So, I mean, we've got the scales very weighted toward being bad. I'm going to probably give this still probably an 8. And you're like, what? Did you just listen to yourself talk for the last 20 minutes?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Hear me out, guys. This drone is cheap. And it sort of does what's going on. Now, the reason I'm giving this an 8 right now, this is going to be, believe me, this is going to be a 0 pretty soon if I can't get the app updated. If you get it right now, understand, you're going to be dealing with app issues for a little bit. That's on one hand. On the other hand, it's not a DJI, which means it's like about 15 times cheaper or 20 times cheaper, which is really nice, but cheaper is not always better, people. If you need it to work, just get the DJI, okay? Just go ahead and run down to the bank, pull out the second mortgage, and go ahead and get that DJI. But if you're like most people and you don't want to spend $3,000 or $5,000 or whatever they're going for these days, and you need something that folds up that you can put into your backpack or whatever it is that you're doing with drones, then this might not be a terrible option. Now, I agree, it's annoying when you have a laundry list of features that sort of don't work yet, because what's the incentive for the Chinese company to come out with the app and fix it? I think at this point, it's like, I don't know if they will.
Right.
So I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. On Brian Phillips RC, we don't want to recommend stuff that isn't guaranteed to wow you. But sometimes we'll come out with a product that's like, hey, you know what? I mean, if you know it's this and you thought it was going to be this, yeah, it might be enough to get the job done. I don't know. I'm just saying this thing does some stuff pretty good. The gyro stabilization on the craft is pretty good. It was windy out there and it went around just fine. Also, I don't know where this footage comes from. I don't know, this footage that just happens to be playing in the background. I don't know where that's from. Probably it could be from this, I'm not sure. But what I'm gonna say is the footage is okay. Is it 6K as in better than 4K? Or is 6K some new Chinese measurement of like less than 4K? Like somewhere between 720i and 1080p, that's where 6K lives in China. So just a couple of large considerations and big stretches to be able to say, is this a drone for you? I don't know. It might be fine. If you're flying a drone for fun, I would not buy an expensive drone like this. And when I say expensive, this is still cheap on drone standards. Why would I want this drone over another drone? That's a great question. Because if the app doesn't get fixed, then that's a pretty tough ask, I would say. Even though the thing does fly, the yaw rate's very slow, which means you can't control it very easily. On the other hand, so you can't control it very well, it controls itself pretty good. So that's nice. I mean, that is a real factor. Also, the slower yaw rate means that footage tends to turn out a little better. So that's really good. Also, the rocker controls, come on, give me a break, drone manufacturers. Give us something better than this. You got this little spring-loaded switch. It's not actually an analog switch. It's just like on, off. So there's no discrete difference. There is discrete difference here. These are very good. They feel pretty good for being on a cheap transmitter. Also, it's so small, which is nice for storing, but it's bad for a humanoid male that's got big hands. Okay, I just turned it off, by the way. So definitely have some critical moments here on this drone. We're talking about it now because we care about you, the audience, more so than we necessarily care about Eagle Wings and promoting a product for them or whatever it is. And that's what we do here on Brian Phillips RC. We promote products, obviously. But we also want to promote a good RC experience. And if we get something that's not as good as we'd like it to be, we are very forthright on this channel. Now, would we have loved to be able to come out and give this a glowing review? Yeah, first of all, it's a lot easier for us. Second of all, the way we make a living or whatever it is that we're making, what are we doing on this? The way we earn income and fund our channel is by selling equipment. So it behooves us to want to sell you equipment. Like, this is great, buy it. It's the fastest, bestest, cheap. It sounds familiar? But that's not how you grow, an audience of loyal subscribers and followers and people that are super supportive like we have on this channel. And we're not trying to sell you guys out for this brand or that brand or somebody else that's offering the next garbage. Now, I'm not saying this is garbage. I actually think this is a great drone. I think that the manufacturer made a big mistake in not getting the app right. And I think that it's totally correctable. And that's part of the reason why I'm kind of excited about it, because I feel like this is probably the nicest drone we have right now. It's very quiet. It flies in wind. It flies autonomously, no problems. When there's problems, it's because I interfere with it, which you'll see if you watch the rest of the video. We are going to share our video footage where this, maybe might have been footage that we collected from this thing. I'm not sure. You'll have to watch the video and compare notes. But you can watch for your very own. You'll get some tidbits in there, and then we're going to do our unbox and build radio setup. There isn't a build, but we do install the app on my phone. We show it working. We show it connecting several times, so you guys can see for yourself. It did work. We don't know what changed, but that's something changed because it doesn't work anymore. So that being said, we hope you have a better experience. If you're buying this, it is mid-August 2022, okay? Mid-August 2022. Let's just call it that. So, we assume that they'll fix the problems. If they don't fix the problems, then you may have the same experience we do. And if you do, then please don't blame me for not telling you about our experience. And that's what we do here, obviously, on Brian Phillips RC, is we share about our personal experience with these different items. And so we hope that you can get a lot of value out of these little tidbits, because these tidbits, this chart is the difference between what they claim and what we experienced, okay? And by the way, we did experience some of these features, like the spirally thing off camera. And so even though there may have been a video that started on our computer arbitrarily behind me that has nothing to do with this video, you can draw your own conclusions as to whether or not it was spinning around. And I think it is capable of doing that. Also, one-touch return to home, one-touch takeoff. That's pretty standard operating procedures. We have helicopters that do that and then flip upside down and fly now, which is incredible, with no hands on the sticks and not looking at it. That's not just stabilized, like actually flying and actively correcting things upside down. That's amazing. So we have seen some huge advancements in technology. And so we want you guys to be excited about the possibility of this being a great drone, but you need to take it into consideration, because I am not going to be the one that jumps in front of a freight train for any of these companies. We want you guys to know what you're getting into. So weigh that into your decision-making process, and hopefully you'll enjoy the video footage. So camera crew, do you have anything you want to add to this beyond elaborating on the frustration that this causes us when we're filming and they don't quite work the way they're said?
No, I think you've really hit on it. We really wanted this to work. This was something that you were really excited about.
I was.
And so,
I requested this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then when it doesn't work, it's frustrating. But we also know how frustrating it is for you guys to get stuff and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we want you to know
about our real experience.
Yeah. If this meets your criteria and you just need it to do the things we showed,
then you're fine.
It does that.
Yep.
But if you expect it to do all of these things,
yeah, the ones that are crossed out, it's a crapshoot.
And it might not. But if the app doesn't work,
yeah,
we don't know.
And the other thing is, we did try it on the Galaxy S21 Plus, and we failed to get connection. Not sure why.
One of the biggest frustrations when we were talking about this, when we couldn't get it to work the other day, was the lack of battery life on the transmitter.
Yeah.
I mean, if the transmitter only lasts 15 or 20 minutes or a half an hour or whatever it is, depending on how you use it, that's
weird. Just keeps starting back there.
That's strange.
Random video. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
And also, charging these things takes forever.
Yeah.
You charge them comes with one cable, no AC adapter, which is not uncommon, admittedly, But I mean, even the one we did not too long ago, didn't it come with all the cables for all the batteries?
It came with enough cables.
We had to do a battery and the transmitter. Okay. This one probably should have come with a transmitter cable and at least cables for all 3 batteries, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And when you get into like charging 3 batteries and it takes all night, as in overnight from like 6 or 7 o'clock at night to like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning to actually be fully charged, that's a long time. Because they're making truth claims at this being a 3,300 milliamp 3S battery. Where? That's a lot of milliamp hours in a small battery. However, you know, battery technology is getting better. And to be perfectly frank, this is a small package and that's awesome. So we love it. It does come with a cover as well, which I don't know. Do you have that cover?
No, I put it back in the case.
So at the end of the day, we're here to help you have a great experience. And we want you to have a great experience, whether it's a drone, a helicopter, fixed wing, or just a weed whacker that we happen to be reviewing. At the end of the day, we understand how frustrating it can be to have expectations up here and then get a delivery down here. It's just frustrating. So hopefully this answers all your questions and then a little bit more that you didn't know to ask. And if you don't know to ask, you are on the right channel. Don't go to the people that are saying the biggest, fastest, longest, hardest, whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, you don't need another truth claim to let you down. You want the real picture of the real success story or the real failure. And that's what we do here. We fly them, we crash them, we fix them, we do all that stuff here on Brian Phillips RC for your benefit. And so hopefully here in a couple weeks, they'll do some sort of a software update and we can just update the video. And you guys will have a great experience because we'll be able to showcase it on another second thoughts video for this thing, which we don't generally do second thoughts on these things. But given the less than stellar review we're giving this thing, we are going to keep our eyes open because we like to be able to review an item that's been fixed too. It would be probably the first time in history of time. Other than maybe like large, you know, huge brand companies that come out and fix, you know, things over time.
Yeah.
So, which we have also experienced because we work with some pretty good companies. And at the end of the day, we're here to serve you. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to have the Unbox. It's like our maiden flight. And then that gets cut short because of the daylight. And then, of course, we'll go ahead and have some more clips from today in the daylight, but in the wind also. So you guys can make up your own minds from there. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. Leave your questions and comments in the video description, or not in the video description. Leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications if you haven't already. We have Patreon and PayPal available down below, and obviously links to even this very item if you decide to buy it, but links to other ones as well down below. So hopefully something will meet your RC fancy. YouTube is Brian Phillips. We've got a drone. Yes, there's millions of them on the market. We're going to see if this one does even half of what it suggests it does. We hope it does. But here we go. Right now, we've got 3 batteries like this. They claim to be 3,300 milliamp 3S. I don't really understand how that's possible, but we're going to go ahead and go with it. This one has a gyro stabilized 3-axis gimbal and an 8 megapixel camera, which somehow supposedly produces 6K footage. We're a little bit confused about some of the specs. That's why we don't really bother ourselves with Chinese specs. We did install an app. It's called like HFly something. It's in our Unbox part, which will follow this video. Hopefully it works great, but we have learned to really check our expectations on Chinese drones because usually they talk a big game and they don't always deliver. Usually they deliver quite a bit of what they recommend, but they don't necessarily always do everything they say. Now, that being said, this is going to be our maiden run of this piece of equipment. It does have folding arms, which we'll just pause and show you that. Camera crew, if you can hold that. Everything does fold, which is very nice. You do have to fold it in the right order. And just keep in mind, drones are dangerous. They can cut you, so please use caution. This is definitely not a toy grade thing. It does come with a case. It's got all sorts of bells and whistles. It comes with I think it comes with a full set of props. If not, it's got some extra screws and things like that. And look how small that package deal is. A little bit bigger than some we've reviewed in the past from Lulin, but I think this one's going to be quite a bit better. We do have a personally provided, not included, SD card, which is 128 gigabytes. I do not know if it's going to work. We have had problems with that in the past. So without further ado, we're going to turn this on and we're going to see if we can get the thing to connect. Our battery is not fully charged, which is a huge no-no. Obviously, you don't generally want to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on. This should have probably already been on. We do have our actual connection is going to be through Wi-Fi, so I have to go off camera for a moment and turn my Wi-Fi on, make sure we can find connection with the drone. We see we've got red flashing lights. That means it's not done, it's not working. And so I'm just kind of turning on this Wi-Fi to see what happens and see if anything happens at all. I haven't seen anything yet. So I'm basically not even sure all the features here, but we do have basically no connection because it doesn't show battery. Can you come up here and show them? There, it just got it. Did you hear the beep? Now look at the lights. They changed from red to white and red. Now, we have a level 0. I don't know what that means. We do have a signal here, and we do have this thing. This is not attached to that thing other than physically. We have some antennas here. The antennas can be adjusted. There's also gimbal controls here. Yep. And that's going to move our gimbal stuff. And then obviously this is going to be our controls. You can see there's some feedback on the screen. This is quite heavy with my phone. I don't like that. It makes me feel like it's gonna fall out of my hands. But the thing is, I can hold on to these tabs. That's kind of nice. There is a return to home position here. I believe that's how you would set your home, which I just did. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to hit start flying on the app. I'm not gonna show you all this. It says failed to connect to the aircraft. Please check the aircraft. I'm gonna hit okay. Just give me a second. I'm gonna hit I know. Obviously, at this point, I hear beeps. I see we have 10 GPS signals or 10 GPS satellite connections, and then we have all sorts of good stuff. We are in mode 2. That means throttle, yaw, spin it flat on its axis, tip left, tip right, tip forward, tip back. That's how you drive. And it looks like it's still struggling to figure out where I am. Nope, it does know where I am because I can see as I turn, you can see that little device mention where it believes we are. So I'm going to walk back. Come back with me, please, camera crew. Just in looking at this screen, I'm going to hit the return to home, non-GPS fixed point mode, okay, cannot be opened. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to take just a quick second and I'm going to try to get connected. We'll come right back. That's what I'm looking for, guys. So I got to connect to that. I'm just going to connect to that. Obviously, the connection to the drone is absolutely required. And then I'm going to go back to my app. Once you get that going, internet connection, okay, so stay connected. And GPS mode, okay, now it's giving me a bunch of steps. It says the file system of the TF card is not supported. Okay, so that is a problem we've had before. The system detected time in your area is night, blah, blah, blah. In order to obtain better night vision effect, it is recommended you turn on the night mode. Okay, so it's trying to format the card, so I don't know if that's actually gonna work. This is one of the issues we ran into with another drone, and we actually had, okay, so it's detected the current TF card is not configured as a high-speed card, and it performed poorly during high bit rate recording. Do you want to reformat it to make it perform best? I'm gonna hit okay. So formatting is success, you can now use. Okay, so good. Then I'm gonna do one key open. Okay, fine, whatever. So as you can see, I can look, I can see, that's pretty sweet. I can move the gimbal up, I can move the gimbal down. We probably are hitting the ground, I wonder. Novice mode, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna go up here, I'm gonna turn off novice mode. I'm gonna open up the whole band. Keep in mind, you are required, okay, 30 meters, you can set the meters however much you want for the return to home position. There are many, many different settings you can change. I don't want to go through all of them now because I don't really want to necessarily show 100% of that because it's going to be a lot of a personal preference stuff. Okay. Also, I just want to take a minute and look at my own Google Maps. I want to expand it and just show you, you can see it on the map. You can see our little house shapey thing, and I'm going to zoom out. And yep, looks good. It's got a little drawing that shows the drone and the drone position and that stuff, which is pretty cool. And then I'm gonna click on the camera. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna arm the aircraft. If it will arm, it's in expert mode. I wanna go to the settings and go to flight control and just make sure that we have stabilization on. And I don't see anything about stabilization now, which is good. Camera settings, just make sure everything, okay, HD, record mode, helper grids.
Their stabilization.
Where?
Right above your finger, right?
It's on,
Yep.
okay? I had to turn that on. And then you can do all sorts of other stuff, gesture photo, gesture recording. Gesture photo is like this, gesture record is like this, okay? So I think we're ready to go ahead and set our home position. So I'm gonna go ahead and press that. And that is set now, hypothetically. It's making some beeps. Now I don't know if that means it's trying to return to home or if it's setting the home position. Also, I wanna do you want to relearn home? Yes, I do, because many times that's one of the first things you have to do before you can do anything useful, okay? So I'm using these sliders here just to see if anything moves. Nothing seems to move, which is fine. I'm gonna try to arm here. I'm gonna try to arm. Okay, let's see if I can go up and down, up and down. I did not pay attention. Did you see what the arm mode was?
I did not, but we don't have lights on right now.
Oh shoot, did it go to sleep? I think it may have gone to sleep, guys. I hear the beeping. I'm gonna press and hold this button and wake it up. It went to sleep. 10 minutes of inactivity will do that. Okay, I'm pressing it short press and there is no activity. So I'm gonna have the camera crew hold. Just to give you guys an idea, this is pretty standard operating procedure when you first get a new drone. There are many things to set up. It does take some time. And we try to show the full suite. Okay, so I pressed and held. Now I'm laying that down quickly. I wanna let things get reconnected. My Wi-Fi should connect pretty quick. Okay, good. It's gonna go from red to hopefully a blue and white. We just want to prove that the thing works for you, and then we can spend a little bit of time and figure out what we're legally allowed to share in terms of the flight footage, if at all. Okay, so there, now we're connected, non-fixed point mode. Okay, so now what I want to do is let's see if we can take off here. I'm going to go ahead and set my return to home. Non-fixed GPS mode cannot be set. Okay, so that's probably because it hasn't actually established all the GPS, but we do have 15 satellites. So I want to see if I can click this or click this. And then also there is a way to start recording. So I took a real effect picture, has been saved. Okay. Okay, good. So we have a beep. That's good. That means we can go ahead and start by setting our home position, which is here, relearn home. Okay, let's step back. I'm going to see if I can arm it up, down. I still can't figure out why it's not going to arm. Let's try the return to home. Doesn't do anything. Up, down, doesn't do anything. Unlock, sometimes you have to do that. There we go. Okay, so now it's alive. Okay, so arm, up, down, arm. I'm just trying a couple of different sequences. I'm gonna hit the unlock. There we go. Then I'm gonna press up. Oh, cool, look at that. Very stable, not even looking. Super good, not very loud. I'll get closer so you can hear with my lav mic. Nothing crazy, okay? So I'm gonna just, obviously we have a lot of washout because of the contrast of the sky. So we'll just see how this flies. Very easy to see, good lights. Not incredibly quick. I'm at a 50% speed right now. Let's go ahead and do a return to home, which is right here. Okay, so it's flashing. You can see it's doing a return to home. I am not controlling anything, obviously. And we've got a different sequence of events on the lights. Hopefully the thing doesn't fly away. Low battery, returning to home. So 30 meters up and then comes back down. So as you can see, it's coming back down. I always get nervous at this point in the drone sequence because I never really trust them as far as I can throw them until they're on the ground and they land in the perfect spot because it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. Show them down a little bit so they can see where it's headed. Now, just so you know, it is giving me a low battery warning and it's also got a really good feed on the camera. Look at that.
Yeah,
very nice
really
gyro stabilized image. Obviously, we are not sure. That was a good landing too. So we had a nice smooth landing. Okay, now, couple of points of disclosure. A, we didn't let the battery charge. We just needed to get in the air because we were dying as the sun was setting. So what we're probably gonna have to do is regrettably, we're gonna have to go in and we're gonna have to get another flight. But the key is we wanna show that everything so far has worked. I don't want to expand to the full Google Maps, but I do want to show you that you can see our spatial position compared to the drone. It does show that it's facing the house, and guess what? It is facing the house. So that's really cool. we do actually have a good representation of position, which is good. This is one of the things that we failed to have on other drones. So this is a really fairly inexpensive drone for the amount of high quality video. Let's come over here and show the people. Look how nice this video feed is. That's actually really a pretty good video feed. Let's see if we can hit start. Let's see if we can flip the camera. Mobile app, main camera, optical flow lens, which is the thing that points down, okay? They call it an optical flow. Now I'm gonna see if it'll let me start. When the anti-shake function is turned on, it is forbidden to use this function. Okay, so that would be something that we could use. Now also I wanna talk about speed, app flight, slow or fast. I'm gonna change it to fast, and then we're ready to rock and roll. Now this is not gonna take off without switching batteries. So keep things in mind. It takes a while to charge this, the battery, and any other batteries you get. We got ours with 3. We would highly recommend you get at least 3 batteries. So we have more to demo on this. So unfortunately, we're out of time on this one, but we are gonna show some more. So stay tuned. Okay, so I wanted to show you the gyro stabilized gimbal, okay? So as you can see, and then I'll just like point, like you can see me talking.
Yeah.
And it's, oh, I wonder if we're just running out of, we're probably running out of juice. But it is working pretty good, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I would say that might be good enough because that's a pretty extreme movement. So what we were looking for was gyro stabilized, brushless gimbal, okay? They're gonna talk about 400 other features on all these Chinese drones, and I don't care. I just want the feature I need, which is gyro stabilized gimbal and a high quality camera. So I think this one might actually work, but we are gonna do a little bit more footage, so stay tuned. YouTube. Brian Phillips, we've got a box in a garbage bag. We're gonna cut it open right now, and it's gonna be amazing. What is this? Is the Eagle Wings X18HG, I have no idea. It's some drone. We're just gonna throw that packaging away right now. Okay, so what is this? This is an amazing new product, super inexpensive, lots of features. I don't even know that I'm gonna be able to go over all of them, so just click the link in the video description below and let's see if this thing is any good for you so that you don't have to buy it to find out. That being said, we're doing it right now. By the way, for the record, what we do when there's drones, we open them, we unbox them, we put them together, and we run them. And if they say a bunch of stuff down here, I'm like, yeah, in one ear and out the other, because I don't really care what their claims are. I claim what we experience.
Pretty much. Whoa.
That would be a smart thing to do if I didn't own this house.
A little aggressive.
That was so anticlimactic. Okay, so we're opening this thing. Drones, they have a terrible habit of over-promising and under-delivering. I don't care if it's DJI or any other brand, but except for DJI, they're pretty good, but they're super expensive. This thing is like not even in the realm of the price of a battery. So that's why I was super excited when I saw this thing and I'm like, we must do it. We must do it to see if it's everything I think it's supposed to be. And really what got me was the gyro stabilized gimbal, okay? All right, look at this.
Did you like bring your lunch home in a new container?
That's so nice.
That's totally gonna be the thumbnail.
Okay, so we're gonna open this thing up. I do like that it comes in a case. The case is actually very nice. Anti-slip on the bottom. We've got meshed sides here. And let's open it and see how it looks. Okay, first things first, we're gonna open this. It's got a manual in it. Ages 14 plus, whatever that means. Obviously, there's millions of stupid rules pertaining to drones. And by the way, a special thanks to all you drone operators for all the extra fun that we have as fixed wing operators. Thank you. Okay, user manual. 3-axis brushless gimbal. That is the feature I want. Okay, everything else, don't really care. Okay, so as you can see, there's a case in here. Li-Po batteries. What does that mean? Lithium polymer. That means explosion ready. Ooh, look at that. That's a pretty simple battery. I do like it's got the drone style prepackaged battery. There's a button on here. You press the button and something happens. That's the pre-explosion button. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding, relax. There's a bunch of pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good Lord. I wonder how many cells this actually is. This is, oh, it's 11.1. So it's a 3S. 3,300 milliamp hours. Yeah, right. Let's just show you how big a 3,300 milliamp hour battery is. 3S, 3,300 milliamp hour, and this is a hard pack. Here's a 3,200 4S, 3,200 3S. Not sure I'm buying what they're laying down, but they claim it's 3,300 milliamp 3S. We'll see about that now. Okay, another lithium polymer pack. Super, super nice. If you guys are getting a drone and you're getting it with just one battery, you're making a big mistake. Get it with more than one battery. You're gonna need it. And it really doesn't matter what they claim because it doesn't matter until you fly it. So we're gonna fly it. And honestly, the proof is in the pudding. I really don't care about truth claims of Chinese products. That's why Brian Phillips RC exists. Well, I mean that among other things, but ooh, 2 different types of foam. They have this, well, this is like a plasticky foam and then like a squishy type foam. Oh my goodness. Warnings. Yes, warnings and plastic. Warning, before taking off the drone, be sure to make compass calibration by the user manual. Exclamation point. Be sure to fully unfold the arms before taking off. Yeah, pretty sure that's gonna be impossible otherwise. Okay, there's your gyro stabilized gimbal. There is a plastic protective cover on there. I'm just gonna grab that right now and peel that off of there. This thing feels really nice actually. And it says right on there, it says 3.2 8 megapixel. 8 megapixel? That does not sound like 60 frames per second, 4K. I guess we'll find out. So like I said, I try not to trust specs from Chinese drones. Excuse me for 1 second. And I just want to see what this thing really does. Okay, we have a brushless motor here. Feels like it's high quality. It has a right one and a right one. Okay, so that must be where, oh, there's another feature that you can put on there, and I think we got it, but we'll find out. There's something that goes on top of there. It's like another FPV camera or something like that. And in our case, I'm not 100% sure if we ended up with that or not, but we're just peeling this. So make sure, and this is true anytime you follow a link from Banggood, always check out what the battery choice is and the left or right hand throttle. Some are interchangeable based on the setup on the transmitter, but just believe me, if you're used to flying left hand throttle versus right hand throttle, I have a knife, then it will make all the difference in the world. And if you're used to left throttle, ailerons, elevator, that'd be mode 2, okay? So sometimes it's called mode 1, mode 2. There's actually like 6 modes, but most people do mode 1, mode 2. At least in North America and Europe and Asia. But there are some other countries that do like mode 4 and 5. And, you know, I don't know anything about them, so I don't want to speak to it. I just have heard about it. Okay. All right, so we're going to take this warning off. That is a fair warning. I mean, you got to remember, guys, drones can cut you just like an airplane. And I see people handle these things very crazily. And just remember, if you get cut, it's not fun. It will hurt. It will send you to the hospital, so please be careful. Okay, press. And then the battery. This does have 3 batteries, by the way, so that's sweet. And that is a big old light. Sweet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's made in China. Weird.
Oh.
Strange. I didn't expect
Shocking.
that. Okay, so another battery. Okay, so we'll just lay this down. So that's a good sized drone. It's not anything crazy. I don't know that I need these. I'm gonna just throw those away.
Yeah.
I don't think that I need this. Could you read that for me, camera crew, please? If you could.
Yes, it says.
Oh, by the way,
Don't cut yourself.
should I show them the Google Translate? Can I show that? Can we film me using the Google Translate? Let's pause for a second.
So.
Okay, so we'll be a little bit selective how we show this. I typed into a Google search translate, and I'm gonna just hit search and see what happens. Okay, so it loads and it's got some different things. Then my camera loads right there. So I hit the camera. I'm just gonna pull away the screen for a minute. It comes up with detect language, all this cool stuff. If you have never found out this feature on your phone, it is amazing. Not sponsored, wish it was. Look at this. Ching hong, ching hong. One, before taking off, look at, is that not the most freaking amazing thing you've ever seen in your life? It reads Chinese and English. Look at this, seriously, that is so amazing. If you guys have never seen that, look, we missed a couple characters. Be sure to extend the arms in place before taking. So,
pretty good too.
I mean, that is so cool and amazing. It's like probably almost more cool than many other things that we do on this channel. But I just wanted to let you know, if you didn't know that, the reason we bring this to your attention is because we deal with a lot of Chinese products. And you get things like this and you're like, what does that actually say? Does it say your mom is fat and she stinks too? No, it says the same thing as this, obviously. But the cool thing is you can do that. I'm gonna throw that away now. Okay, so we've got this thing. Looks like a protective cover. Remove the gimbal cover before powering on. Okay, that's a little scary because my gimbal cover was not on there. Okay? Supposed to remove that before powering on. Okay? That was already fallen off. Okay, so we obviously have 3 batteries here. It comes with a screwdriver. Looks like a Chinese Phillips screwdriver, which is nice. For whatever reason, we have a white cable that came with our black and orange drone. That's a little bit unusual. And then we have a bunch of spare props, okay? Pretty simple unboxing. Oh boy. We have a screw sack. Oh. So the screws will give us, you know, something to mount the props with. If you kind of look close, there's 2 screws that hold each of these mounts on there. Okay, so 4 brushless motors. If you don't know the difference between brushless motors and brushed motors, one has brushes and one doesn't. Brushless motors are better. Okay, so it comes with a transmitter. It's a little bit more robust than what we're used to seeing on El Cheapo transmitter for El Cheap drones. I don't know how this comes down. Oh, goes down like that. Okay, sweet. Feels pretty big. It's got a thing that says charging right there. It looks USB micro. Okay, not mini, but micro. Okay, this is gonna be probably how you go and move your gimbals. There's a kind of, we call those sliders. And then this would be like throttle up, down, and all this different stuff. GPS, unlock, up, down, some sort of a, you know, dial, and then return to home. I know that. And then there's an on off. Okay, sweet. So it's pretty simple looking. Okay, so I'm just gonna peel this little safety, or not safety, but protective guard off. Everything looks pretty run of the mill. It does come with a USB adapter that goes from USB-A to USB micro, okay? So, interestingly, I don't know if this thing has a mic on it too. I would really like to have a mic on my drones, okay? There's no reason to plug this in. I do have some power on this, and it looks like our power, I can't really tell, it looks like about half right there, okay? And then there is some feedback there, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and try to turn this off. Where's the power button? It's
on
over
the side.
there. Okay, so let's plug this in. Show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just gonna plug this in and grab a run-of-the-mill adapter. It's pretty easy to get to. It's kind of in a little bit in an awkward spot. Let's go ahead and grab this. It's just a Wisecam plug. I actually don't really care that it's white. It's actually a lot easier to see than black. Ooh, by the way, one complaint I've had about the smart chargers that we use on a routine basis is that when you go to plug into this little plug and it's like a darker room, like in the evening when we're not filming, we have lights off and we just have, you know, like the lights in the background or whatever. It's very difficult to see those things. And to get alignment for your keying in your HXT connector, it's really challenging to see on a balance connector. Now, I'm gonna need another adapter, right? And we need another adapter, so we're gonna find another adapter and come back. Okay, so I just noticed something else. There is a red light that indicates charging. I'm assuming that's gonna turn to green, okay? I am, full disclosure, grabbing another cable. I have a USB-A to USB micro. We have tons of cables. We literally have thousands upon thousands of different random cables. If you're new to drones, radio controlled aircraft, things like that, or you're coming back from a hiatus, you know, let's say you're in the early 70s or 80s when you've got crystals and things like that, pretty much nothing you have is gonna work. So don't feel bad. If you have the old transmitter, the old radio and receiver, you can actually use those still, but it may be illegal. So be aware of that. Mostly because the FCC has changed rules since then. So this is a USB mini or micro rather, and I'm just gonna look for the charging port, which is here. So you can just plug this in. Goodness gracious, that did not fit very good, but it definitely went in. You can see it's charging. Okay, so we have a couple of blue flashing lights. So pretty simple stuff. So we'll lay that down. And then obviously what we need to do is we need to get a bunch of cables so we can charge these batteries. Now, obviously, while they're charging, we can go ahead and get the app installed on our phone. So we're gonna pause, we'll get these set up to charge and come right back. Okay, so we are gonna do the app, but I just wanted to talk about the security of this. This is pretty robust. It's not crazy, it's just a little bit of padding here. You can see what I'm talking about. It's just like one layer thick, not very thick, but then there is a padded back. It's got a little bit of strength to it. So if you were to kind of like drop this, I wouldn't want to make any bets on if it's going to survive. Now, this does go in there to protect the top and the bottom. But my experience is, see, it doesn't fall down very bad, but there's not like a great way to pull it out. So we'll have to see how that works for us. For me, I'm probably just gonna be inclined to just push that thing down, give us a little bit more of a bottom, and then know this side's up, okay? So then I have all the protection on that side. Everything I need for adapters and crap goes in here. And then, you know, you just have to reevaluate for your own comfort level. And then this extremely thin and not very shock absorbent cover, in my case, I'm just gonna throw it in the bottom, okay? So there are some decisions you can make. Now, obviously that's a personal preference decision I'm making. This protective cover, I'm gonna drop in there. The extra spare props, the extra spare screws, and the extra spare screwdriver is gonna go in here until such a time as I realize I need that spot for the battery, which I'm about to realize I'm gonna need that. So maybe I'll leave one in the drone, but make sure it's off, okay? You do not want your drone to be powered and energized in the package because that's how you over discharge lipos and create a fire hazard, okay? So anyway, and as you can see, you've got room here for a little bit more stuff, and then can we extend this because we didn't talk about it? Yes, you can. I'm obviously kind of a bigger guy than some of the Chinese counterparts that are making these things, so they may not be designing their purses for men my size.
That's cute. I like it.
Okay, all right, so then, it looks, I actually really like this too. This is metallic.
Yeah.
It's cool. It feels really nice, okay? So again, it's a stupid case. Like nobody really cares. You're not gonna buy this thing because of the case, but the case is not garbage. I like that. So that's pretty cool. So that's nice. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna pause, get our stuff set up and come right back. All right, so basically what we have here is there is an app, and in the manual, there's a QR code that you can scan depending on what type of phone you use for smartphone or smart device. In my case, I'm using a Samsung Galaxy S9. It's nothing special. It's definitely not the latest and greatest technology. And the app is called HFun Fly. So I'll just show you loading it. It's very simple. I'll be a little bit careful and skittish about sharing full screenshots. Just for our security, obviously, it's not really a big deal to share this with you because most of it's gonna be not a big deal. But then as you can see, we have a 128 gigabyte SanDisk card. So this is gonna be, we also have a 64. Previously, we've had trouble getting these to work. And so I'm just gonna try and put this in first and see if it fits, which they usually fit okay, but then sometimes they don't always format. Okay, so I'm just gonna plug that in and I can hear it and I can see it. So that's nice, you can see it definitely. While off camera, I tucked in this tab. So that is an anti-collision forward-facing device. There's anti-collision sensors and camera here. There's a down camera there. There's a very bright light. There's lights here, okay? Rubber pads here, 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 here. Obviously, this is where the battery's gonna go. So it's really, it's a pretty well thought out design. I don't know how it's gonna fly, and we can't show you every feature of the app because there's just too much to show. And that is pretty common on the more robust drones. But we're gonna show you the basic features which is going to be like what the live feed looks like. We're going to show you kind of how it works. It was big though, 310 megabytes. So just keep that in mind. I mean, granted, that's not huge, but it's definitely not small. Also, this thing is charging right now still, and you can tell that by looking underneath. You can see that red light. And so what I want to do is I want to show you guys how to actually put your phone in here. And that is a factor you'll want to keep in touch, because sometimes these things aren't big enough. Okay, so this has a little tab that folds down. It's a pretty smooth design. Feels like it's gonna break though, and that makes me nervous. So if I were to stick my phone in here, I have a volume, and then like a home screen button, and then I forget whichever one it is. But I'm gonna try to kind of put it off to the side so that it'll actually go in. So in my case, I have a commuter case on there, so it makes it a little bit heavier and a little bit thicker. But as you can see, I've got it on there. And then the diversity antennas or antenna can be pulled back and away and just kind of like put in different orientations so that they reach away from the cell phone. So you've got a little bit better amplitude there. And what I found is that I hold the antennas like this and they point down. So I'm not sure if there's some magical solution for that, but I can definitely say that these antenna, they feel like they're actually more robust than the mount. So, but you can see what's happening. I've got those antennas pointed to the ground. So not sure if that's gonna be a problem. I do know that this thing will run on 5G, and generally speaking, 2.4G is almost always reverse compatible, but we haven't tried it yet, so we don't wanna tell you what we don't know. So obviously all of our batteries are charging and they're flashing like this. And if you were to press this button, you see nothing happens while charging. I'm gonna unplug this. Oh, and by the way, there is music on this app. It's got this obnoxious noise. Okay, I mean obnoxious, it's not really that bad, but I don't wanna listen to music while I'm running an app. No. So if you press and hold this button, nothing seems to happen. If you press it, short press it and let go, nothing seems to happen. So sometimes in drones and camera gear and airplanes and helicopters and things that we've reviewed in the past, you can turn the battery on, which is kind of weird. But what we're probably gonna have to do is because we don't wanna lose our daylight, we have our sunset right now. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go outside and go ahead and start this for the first time. Now, obviously we have two other batteries charging. They're on the backdrop over here in our kitchen. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk outside with this and we're just gonna show you the first run of this. And that's something that we do here on Brian Phillips RC. One of the ways you can help support us if you like the content is look in the top of the video description below. You can always see whatever item we're reviewing, unless it becomes discontinued or it's gone and we can't find a suitable replacement. Sometimes our distributors back out of a particular item or they run out and they never restock. Sometimes they're just out of stock. But there's always a link at the top in most cases, like 99.99% of the time. That's where you can buy one of these and then small commissions come to us to help support our channel. So that's one way you can help. Obviously there is no included camera phone or smartphone in this case, and there is no included SD card. We added those to the feature set, so don't be surprised when you don't get a Samsung Galaxy S9 and a commuter case. That's something you have to provide. Also, in the past, we've used a number of different drones that have different apps. They all work similarly. So my recommendation is if you're trying to do something like this, this might be a great one for you. It might not. But either way, make sure you know the rules in your area. Be careful to follow them if you want to stay out of trouble. There's knowbeforeyoufly.org, and that's all the federal government gets from me for free, and you can do your own due diligence. But just keep in mind, there are rules and regulations. Don't go filming your neighbors while they're changing clothes, because that's what everybody assumes you're gonna do. Do something different and more productive. And if you go up really high, you can break rules just by going up so high. And if you're near airplanes and airports and manned aircraft, by all means, don't go anywhere near them. Don't film fires. Don't get in the way of rescues. Don't do all the things that you think might be cool. Just don't do those things because they're probably illegal. And I am not a lawyer. I am not an advocate for any of that stuff. I just want you to know there are rules. I don't understand every single detail. There are people that will exhaustively explain these rules right here on YouTube. So check out their channels and have fun with that. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go outside and we're gonna film some sort of flight for you, and barring showing or not showing, the aerial footage will be contingent on whether or not it's worth sharing and whether or not it's legal to share. So stay tuned. So much more to come from Brian Phillips RC. The best thing you can do if you want to support us is like that video. Smash the like button right now. Click the bell for notifications and keep watching these wonderful videos that we put together. And thanks to the camera crew, one of the best in the industry. You've obviously seen this thing fly. As to whether or not it meets all of your specific demands, there are a million choices for drones out there. And so we really kind of limit what we do. We do a lot of toy grade. We do a lot of sub 250, and then this will be one of the most robust that we've had. And hopefully it will give us enough good stabilization for aerial photography on the rare occasion that we actually want to show a high angle. But just don't worry, there's always movie magic, and it may have just been filmed from the stick of shame. If you're watching FAA, that's what happened. Stay tuned. YouTube, Brian Phillips here. Eagle Wing X1, foldable, it's got lots of lights, 4 brushless motors, has a lot of big claims. We are currently showing the app on my other Galaxy S9. Camera crew is filming on a Galaxy S21 Ultra in 4K for your viewing pleasure. Hopefully this turns out better than our last video, and we're gonna give you more details about that, but we are firing it up. It's sunny, it's windy, show them the windsock. By the way, that's a calibrated windsock for PPG, which is super exciting. Okay, so we're just gonna turn that on and let things go. And camera crew and I are gonna try again. Our first video of this was kind of a short clip, and we ran out of time because we got timed out from weather, because it got dark. Not weather, just it was dark. It was calm, it was perfect conditions. The second time we played with it, we had problems with the transmitter kind of more or less running out of batteries, we believe, and then it failed to connect on the Wi-Fi, okay? So that was interesting. So now I'm actually getting some connection, it looks like, and I'm not sure if it's gonna work for us this time, but we have learned a little bit about the buttons. Make sure you do read the manual. There's a lot of things that we do on this channel where you don't have to read the manual to really do it, you just watch our video. Trouble is on drones, first of all, there's rules you have to follow, so be careful, look into the rules. Federally, state, local, municipalities, whatever, your neighbor, it doesn't matter. The point is, just be aware there are rules, so please do your best to follow the rules. But in this case, we want to just show you that it either works or it doesn't work. Because here on Brian Phillips RC, we give you guys a basis for consideration to purchase. In this case, that's really all we're doing. We're not going to be doing a bunch of like cinematic photography. We're going to be basically showing you if it does. And that long beep is usually when things are going to start working. So I hit start flying. Okay, whatever, I know, I'm not gonna listen to any of that crap. We did have a button also disappear where novice mode disappears. You can turn it on and off. If it won't let you out of novice mode, I'm not sure what to tell you. I literally have video footage of turning it on and off, and I pulled it up for the camera crew because she thought I was nuts the other day. I'm not nuts.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm gonna see if it'll take off. I have to unlock it, and as you can see, it's not unlocking. That usually means also, we have non-fixed point mode, which means that we don't actually have a connection to the device yet. And this is where we gave up on it the last time. So I'm pulling up my own. It does say it's connected without using internet. Okay, so that's a good thing. So I'm gonna pull back up the app. I'm gonna back out of it and I'm gonna go back to start flying. And it says failed connection. So it's basically giving me some error messages. So what I wanna do is I wanna film this now, but I want to do it in such a way it's going to be hard to see. I'm actually going to walk and see if we can get into a better angle. You're going to have to stay probably there, and it's going to be hard to see. That's one other thing to keep in mind is you have to provide your own phone. It's not like it comes with this, and that would be pretty standard. I'm going to go to operation guide. You can go to an app, flight calibration, and then personal center, whatever that means. And then there's settings, And then there was one thing in here that we had changed to try to make this work better. And I changed one setting, version information. So there's really nothing there. There was one place where we changed the 5G Wi-Fi mode. And I don't know how to get back into it. So it's as though the shortcut disappeared within the app. And I don't understand why. But anyway, so failed to connect to the aircraft. It may have timed out on us, and that's the other thing. There's a 5-minute timeout, then a 10-minute shutdown. I'm gonna go ahead and press the button. I can see the lights on the front. They're blue, they're faint. I can hear the motors start up. And then basically, I'm gonna see if it'll connect. It still says non-fixed point mode, which is basically means that, you know, it's not connected. That's a good way of telling. Also, you can, I don't know if I can even unlock this thing. I see some flashing blue lights on the, I want to call it like the eye. But this is kind of what we ran into the other day, where we just like literally never could get it to work. And it wasn't that it wasn't connected at first, but then later it became that way. I'm going to pull down and check my Wi-Fi settings again. You know, we don't want to share our Wi-Fi settings with the world. It says connected without internet, unsecured. It says 5G, and it's at 104 megabytes per second. So we definitely have a connection to this device. So it's very interesting that all this, and we have a beep, whatever that means. That beep is usually a good sign. So H Fun Fly, I'm opening the app back up, and I'm gonna try to hit unlock. If you hit unlock and it doesn't unlock, well, it just went to the GPS. Okay. If you hit the unlock button, which is right here where I'm trying to show it, so it actually moves the unlock icon, and it doesn't unlock, that also indicates that you're not connected. So there's a lot of things that will indicate to you that it's not connected and not working, but not a lot of things to actually make the thing work. So I'm gonna try to unlock it from the transmitter. There it goes. Okay, now you're gonna wanna give it a wide breath here.
Okay.
Okay, so it's up in the air. As you can see, it's actually doing quite well in the wind, but we have no camera feed at this point, but we definitely have a connection to our local machine, okay? So there is a speed mode 2, and I forget where the speed mode is. Oh, there it is. So I'm on level 3. Okay, so watch this speed. Just because of the wind, you can see it does actually surprisingly well in the wind. But we still aren't connected, so what's the point? You know, if you're gonna use it for a camera, it's useless at this point. So we show you this stuff, and you can see that there's a GPS feed, because look, as I spin or move, I can definitely tell that it knows where we are. So it's just very strange. I'm not sure. This is kind of what we ran into the other night. And we're gonna keep it at an ultra low altitude just to avoid potential conflicts with surrounding territory. That is the full cyclic rate. That is very slow. Now, slow is not necessarily good if you're trying to like film a moving target. Now it moves forward very nicely. It definitely rolls okay, and it's pretty easy to stop unless you're close to grass, evidently. But what's really frustrating to me is that there's really no excuse for not having this camera working by now. We do have a connection for Wi-Fi and all that. Everything should be working. So I want to see what happens when I try to return to home now. It's going to go up to like 30 meters or so, or not 30 meters, maybe 20 meters. And then it's going to turn around and it should land where we took off from. Now, if this doesn't work, I'm going to cancel by hitting the button. And it looks like it's actually going to the home position. I do note that it yaws to different positions. You want to give it a wide breath here, camera crew. I never trust drones as far as I can throw them, okay? If you're not sure. Now, the cool thing is, it's actually working on just the transmitter. So that's definitely a good sign. The bad news is, what is the whole purpose of this thing? For most people, it's going to be the camera. So I just want you guys to be aware, here on Brian Phillips RC and with the partners that we work with, we have the freedom and flexibility to tell you exactly what we think of a model, okay? I like this model because it does a lot of the things that you want it to do. But if you can't get it to connect, then you are not gonna like this thing. And so I just wanna see what happens when I try to press the camera. Nothing. It's just not gonna be connected. I'm gonna try to unlock here, nothing. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna try to go back to start flying. Failed to connect. Okay, check if the Wi-Fi is connected. Ensure the Wi-Fi is connected by others. Not connected by others. So we're gonna pause and just double check those things. Okay, so we verified, like, you know, Megan's phone wasn't connected or something weird. Ensure the Wi-Fi signal is good and not interfered, and check whether the mobile data or the mobile phone has been disconnected. Some phones need to be disconnected. Okay, fine. So I'm gonna just double check. I have my mobile data is, I don't know. I can't even tell if it's on or off. So basically it was working before, so why would it not work now? Kind of the same thing I found out earlier when we did this. There was a button that you could choose to go out of novice mode. That button disappeared from the app. That button was the button that allowed us to open up the parameters. Now, not that we were really doing anything especially strange with it. We were just going up about 100 feet and flying around and then landing it on the same spot. So we definitely know that it works. It's just more a matter of, why is it not connected? What is the major malfunction here? And I think there is genuinely something wrong. Now, the other thing too is I can't start the camera here, but I can start the camera here. So I'm curious, if I were to do this, I'm not 100% sure if I'm starting the camera or not. That says camera.
Or are you taking a
No,
picture?
it seems to stay on.
Oh.
See, there's one up here that says video and camera. So I'm gonna go video camera on. We'll just check the thing, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm gonna unlock it. I'm gonna take off with the up arrow, or not the up arrow, but the throttle stick. And then I'm just gonna turn around. Like, the thing has great gyro stabilization, which is really cool because I trust this thing to not run into my face, which is kind of convenient. I don't trust all drones to not run into my face, by the way. And here's the thing, you don't have to know how to fly. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So that's one very big feature. And I want you guys to look at that windsock. That thing is moving, and also it's got a giant rip in the side of it. So it should be pretty much straight out. So as you can see, it's very easy to control. I mean, you don't have to be a pilot like me to be able to fly this thing, okay? And that's an important feature for a lot of drone consideration, okay? Now, also, you don't need a live feed to use this tool. That's one thing that I do like about it, but you have to know what's going on. So we have our camera turned on. So I'm just gonna go up and get a shot. The other trouble is you're not gonna know where you're pointing your camera in this mode, okay? You can see some bottom facing lights. I'm just gonna control it and just kind of go in a bit of a circle. Yes, you can do orbit and some different things like that. We haven't found success doing it, however, because the app decided to kind of stop working for us. Now, the good news is if the app is the only problem with this drone, then when the app is fixed, it's gonna be a fine drone. And by the way, it's going to be a fine drone at a very good price point with a high quality camera. I believe they call it an 8 megapixel camera.
I think that's what it says, yeah.
But they claim it's a 6K camera. So again, that does not jive for me, okay?
Right.
I know what an 8 megapixel camera is, and I do not know what 6K is, because 6K is between 4 and 8K. I don't know what 6 is, okay? So we'll just fly it around like, you know, this is Brian Phillips RC and we did fixed wing aircraft. We'll go down the runway here. Now I'm gonna, whoa, watch yourself. Okay. Like usual, going up fast, get up there, thank you. Okay. So just to be clear, that was kind of scary. It started going in circles, doing a little bit of a, jaunt into the wrong area. And so I'm just gonna fly back over. By the way, I just demonstrated a very embarrassing truth. Sometimes when you have a plane, helicopter, quad, whatever it is, don't be afraid to look like an idiot to save that thing from crashing. It is, after all, your responsibility. So please do be careful. I may have been doing something wrong there. It is hard to orient that thing because where is the tail end of it? Okay, this is true on many drones, by the way. And it's bright, so the lights are not easy to see. So I'm gonna bring it down, tip of the day. I can tell where the front is now because I am going forward. Now when I turn to the right, I'm trying to yaw and I'm rolling. So I'm just putting both sticks over. Okay? The yaw rate is so slow that you're gonna think I wanna coordinate my turn, but it doesn't coordinate, it just doesn't do it. So you need to be aware of that. Now I wanna show you guys a return to home again. Again, we're still not connected on the app, but I'm gonna return to home. Now, camera crew, one thought. I'm actually pretty happy that this thing is working with the transmit.
Right, it is.
I'm super disappointed, however, that we're not able to actually control all the features.
Right.
So I feel like this is almost a good time. Let's give it a lot of room. This is where I never trust them to not run into my face.
This one does seem to be doing pretty good with the returning and landing.
Oh yeah, it's gone right to it.
Yeah.
Now, recently we reviewed a competitive drone. It was a lot cheaper and we were able to take off and land. We were able to take video footage, but a lot of the features that we expected and that were committed to by the manufacturer did not work. It also landed super rough to the extent that it would practically break itself. So this one is landing, and by the way, that's pretty good wind capability. Yeah. So I just gotta say, what we're gonna do is we're gonna stop now, knowing what we know, and also full disclosure, it is not impossible that there is some sort of a conflict here because of my particular model of phone, a Galaxy S9. I don't know what else to tell you about it. I'm sure there's some other model number. Secondly, another issue that we had was the other night when we were trying to painstakingly work through what was going wrong, we ran the battery out on the transmitter. Meaning we thought maybe that led to our problem. I'm not sure how that would have been because the connection to my phone is really my issue right this second. And I just cannot find anywhere that says anything about 5G. And 5G is really, I wonder if when we switch out of the Chinese 5G, if that's where our problem started. It's totally possible that that's where the problem started because I can still see that this thing is connected on the Wi-Fi, and I'll just cover the other Wi-Fi things. It still says it's connected without internet, which is what is supposed to be happening. I'm gonna expand that for you guys so you can see it. Here's the connection. I'm gonna cover the IP address just in case. 117 megabits per second, okay? It is connected. I have no doubt that it's connected. So why is the app not working? I don't know. You know, it'd be really annoying if I open the wrong app. You know what I'm gonna do just for fun, guys? I'm gonna literally open the wrong app and see what happens. I'm gonna open the other one that we used the other day, just to see what happens. Okay, this is an app from another totally unrelated, and I just wanna see what happens. Okay, captions on, off, app update, preparation H, okay, connect aircraft drone, connect aircraft drone. Okay, now I'm gonna just come over here and see if it'll connect. And this is totally out of the blue. No, it doesn't, and I didn't think it would work, and it doesn't work, okay? So I just said they all seem so dang similar. Maybe we could just use a different app. I know, stupid idea, but we try stupid things here when we want stuff to work. Now also, I'm gonna just go straight in. I'm gonna just go straight in to this app, okay? I'm gonna start flying again. I've now opened and closed the app several times. It still is not connecting. Okay, super annoying, frustrating outcome, but this is what you sometimes have to put up with when you buy the Chinese drone. Now just buyer beware. Anytime you buy a Chinese drone, they're gonna make a lot of claims and you have to decide if you believe them. We are here to help you make that decision. So we're gonna pause, we'll go inside, we'll go over the list, and then you guys can make up your own mind because at this point, it's a pretty obvious one. Stay tuned.